Hari Om students, good morning to all of you. Welcome to our new session of social science class. So I hope all of you are healthy and comfortable at home. Your health conditions are okay, I think we hope so. Okay, so you know after the elections the number has increased again. So you should be very careful regarding the spread of the epidemics and should take necessary precautions, you know, as the directions given by everyone. Okay, and always keep in your mind the keyword SMS. Okay, now we have started European nationalism. And we have completed one topic based on European nationalism. I have explained you the impact of French Revolution, the painting made by Frederick Soriot, the new conservative idea, liberalism, what is meant by liberalism in social sense and in economic sense, I explained you. So we have seen the impacts of Napoleonic administrative system or civil code introduced by Napoleon. All this we have analyzed one by one. Okay, so today I am here with a new topic for you, that is, what do you mean by the revolutionaries? Or always there are revolutionary groups are there who are called normally a revolutionary. Who are called normally a revolutionary? Karthik, can you tell me who is called normally a revolutionary? One who is opposing the existing ideas are called a revolutionary. Okay, one who is a rebel or a revolutionary means one who is opposing the existing ideas. So in this sense, who are the revolutionaries? Sprang up during those days. Means we have seen that in the new conservative period, the dynastic rule or monarchical form of government was re-established, and the conservatives are always giving importance to the culture, traditions, etc. That is good, that is required for every nation, but the monarchical form of government and once again going to the old dynastic system is not supported by majority of the people, because we struggled to come out of that and form a new type of government where people's participation is ensured. Is it or not? So here we can see that what do you mean by a revolutionary? Which are the revolutionary groups emerged during those days? That we will analyze first. First we can see what are the major changes occurred after 1815, that is the establishment of the new conservatism. Okay, secret societies sprang up in many European states. What do you mean by secret societies? And you know the modern times Naxal groups, you know, Naxal groups, or whom you call as terrorists. They are all secret societies which are functioning against the nation's interest. But here this is not working against the interest of the nation, but it is working for establishing a new government where people will get their representation. Okay, so secret societies sprang up in many European nations, and what was the purpose of these secret societies? Training revolutionaries. These revolutionaries or these philosophers, thinkers, they were called as revolutionaries in those days, all opposed to the monarchical form of government. So they wanted to train these revolutionaries. They are mainly youngsters. Youngsters are always revolting against the existing form of government, questioning here and there. Even you people are also doing this. Is it or not? So we cannot call a revolutionary it is, but in modern ideology or revolutionary ideas are there. So to train in the revolutionaries, opposing monarchical government after Vienna Congress. We have studied already about the Vienna Congress and the major steps taken in Vienna Congress. Fight for liberty and freedom. These are the objectives of the revolutionary society. So what are the objectives? framing revolutionaries, opposing monarchical government after Vienna Congress, fight for liberty and freedom are the objectives of the secret societies founded. And among them, one of the major person, one of a guiding person or leader of Italian unification was Giuseppe Mazzini. You must have heard his name, Giuseppe Mazzini. He was born in Genova in 1807 and member of secret society. The secret societies which formed for spreading the revolutionary ideas, was in exile in 1831 in Liguria. He was in exile for conducting revolutionary activities. He was exiled to Liguria. Founder of two underground societies called Young Italy in Marseilles. Are you remembering about Marseilles? The song of Marseilles, the national anthem of France. The people who participated in French Revolution marched from Marseilles by singing this song composed by Roger D. Isle to inspire and motivate the people. So this is from Marseilles. And Young European World, two societies were founded and the members were from Poland, France, Italy, Germany, different European countries who are the youngsters. Who are the youngsters? The members were the youngsters who came from Poland, France, Italy, Germany, etc. And he believed that the nation should work for the welfare of the mankind. The nation, that concept, nationalism, that feeling should be cultivated in the minds of the people, so that nation should work for the welfare of the people, and Italy should not be divided into a patch of states. All the states were divided into part which is ruled by particular dynasties. So it should not be divided into a patchwork of states. It should be united together and should achieve the status of an independent nation state. This was the concept of whom? Giuseppe Mazzini, an Italian revolutionary who worked for the emancipation of Italian unification. Okay. So his continuous effort for opposing the monarchy and organizing the people afraid many of the rulers and many of the nations, and they were afraid about the spreading of revolutionary ideas, and they considered him, Duke Metternich of France considered him as the most dangerous man in spreading the revolutionary ideas. So this was Giuseppe Mazzini, an young Italian who worked for the emancipation of Italy and unification of Italy, and he made two groups, Young Italy and Young Europe. The main purpose was unification of Italy into a nation state with the modern concept of nation state and a democratic government where people have the representatives and have the right to cast their vote and express their views and opinions. Okay. Now we can analyze the major revolutions which took place in different parts of European countries. We have seen that conservatives tried to consolidate their power, while the liberals and the nationalists tried to expand their power, and these liberals and nationalists were mainly from the middle class people and youngsters who were working in various fields of life like professors, teachers, businessmen, scholars, philosophers, thinkers, those all who tried to convey their ideas in promoting the liberalism and nationalism among the people or in their mind. Then we have a best example of this French Revolution, which is the most important nationalist movement organized all over the world for the first time. that is how the Bourbon kings were deposed from power and they established a democratic government, how people made a constitution to regulate the powers of the monarch, and we have seen that the French Revolution for the first time gave to the world many new ideas like fraternity, unity, national integration, national anthem. The concept of nationality itself is introduced by the French Revolution for the first time among the world. All this we have studied in your 9th standard in detail. You have studied. And this is considered as the best example of introducing the nationalist movement all over the world. And once the Duke Metternich has explained that when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe starts cold. What is meant by that? A small change which occurs in France will affect the entire European countries. Its impact will be soon affected by the other European countries also. When this French Revolution took place, many European countries started fighting against their oppressive rule of the monarchical form of government, and we have many examples of people marching against or conducting protest against the suppressed rule by the monarchies or by the dictatorship of government, and people wanted to change to a democratic form of government like the French government. So, a small change which occurs in France will affect the entire Europe. Okay, when it starts in France, others also immediately engage in such changes. So, the French Revolution is the first example how the Bourbon kings were deposed from power and how the democratic government was established. Okay, I have seen that the many revolutionary ideas were spread during those days, and the most important among them was the French Revolution and July Revolution, which took place actually aroused the national feelings in a more wider manner, and even breaking up of the Belgium from the United Kingdom. Like this way, many incidents took place in different parts of European countries regarding the nationalist movement which is taken place in European countries. So one we have seen one major event was an Italian revolutionary, Mazzini's contribution to the nationalist movement. Another important event was the Greek War of Independence. I think you heard about Greek culture. When we study about different cultures of our country, that is Mesopotamian, Harappan, this Sindh culture, we have compared contemporary cultures which existed in Greek, Nile, Egyptian culture. So Greek is considered as the cradle of civilization. Cradle means what? Cradle. Tottil ennu nammal parayille. Cradle of civilization. So this Greek was part of Ottoman Empire since 15th century onwards. Ottoman Turks were the rulers of Greece, and it was part of this Ottoman Empire. So we can say that the idea of nationalism and the nationalist movement were aroused from 1821 onwards, and they got support from not only the people who are in Greece, but the people who are exiled from Greece and who are staying in other countries by hiding there as they are exiled from the country. These people also supported Greek culture because it is considered as the cradle of civilization. So Greek people have much affection towards the culture of Greek. Then Western Europeans also supported Greek culture. Western Europeans who are living in that parts also supported Greek culture, and it is considered as the cradle of civilization, mobilized to support public opinion against the Muslim Empire Ottoman Turks. The Greeks were not ready to accept the Ottoman Turks rule. So one English poet, Lord Byron, you must have heard his name, organized funds for fighting in the nationalist movement against the Ottoman Turks rule over Greece, but he unfortunately died in 1824 by following fever. He was affected by fever and unfortunately died in 1824. And this Greek War of Independence concluded in 1832 by the Treaty of Constantinople. So there were many major revolutions took place. One in Italy for Italian unification we have seen under Giuseppe Mazzini. Then French Revolution already we have studied in detail. Now Greek War of Independence is another major event which caused for the achieving of independence from the Ottoman Turks regarding the Greek Empire, as Greece is known as one of the ancient civilizations of European countries, and all were supporters of Greek culture. Not only the people living in Greece but those who were in exile and those who are living in Western European parts also supported the Greek culture. Next major event in European nationalism was Romantic imagination and nationalism. I know all of you are familiar with the word romanticism. Is it or not? But not in the sense as you think in your mind. This is love towards our country. Okay, so when you hear romanticism, the love towards another person, a lovely affection towards your mother or parents or youngest brother and sisters, all this may come in your mind. But here it is used in the sense of love towards one's nation. So how these poets and philosophers tried to create a feeling of nationalism in the minds of the people. That is why I told you first nationalism in India. When nationalism in India was going on, the national leaders used all the occasions like festivals or wherever people gathered. All these occasions were used to convey the idea of nationalism in the minds of the people. So this may be a festival based with the harvest or some other festival, whatever may be the seasons were used by the people. Season not in the sense of climate. The gatherings of the people were used to convey the idea of nationalism in the minds of the people. So the Britishers or the Europeans spread the idea that they are superior to all other civilization and they are supposed to rule others. God has sent them. So all these false ideas were spread by these countries all over the world. So but now we know that we are not inferior to others. We are superior to others because our culture is very good culture which is based on customs, traditions and a systematic life of the people, seasonal changes and the rhythmic seasons change and the rhythmic movement of the people along with the seasonal changes, the cultivation pattern, and when we cultivate the field, the songs sung by the people to motivate and inspire the workers, all these had a rhythm in our life. Okay, these are part of our culture. See, without this, India has no beauty. Is it or not? The northeastern hilly regions, people with their Naga dance, Himachal Pradesh beauty of snowfall, then Manipur, the Manipuri dance, ornaments, dresses, all these has its own beauty in our culture. Then you come to North India, their dishes, their festivals, their lifestyle. South India, the great temples, the churches, the mosque which is located in different parts of the country. Then the seasons, the food styles of the people, the costumes of the people, all these adds beauty to our country. Okay, like this way, in European countries also, the nationalist feeling was tried to create or imbibe in the minds of the people or evoke in the minds of the people through the imagination and nationalism or love towards one's country. Now, how can we love one's country? That is, the role of culture was very important in imbibing nationalism. Art, poetry, stories, music, folklore, all has a great part in evoking the nationalist movement in the minds of the people. So, romanticism. What do you mean by romanticism in nationalism? A cultural movement. It was a cultural movement. This is a very important question. So, you should read the textbook very well. As far as possible, I had noted down the points here. But for me, through this video class, limitations are there, you know. Still, we will interact in the interactive session in a more better manner. Okay, so it is a cultural movement. Romanticism is a cultural movement that is criticized the glorification of science and reason. Okay, all are telling that scientific revolution has a role in changing the society. There is, for every scientific aspect, there is a reason is there. Is science only the ultimate aim of our life? No, we have some other aspects also which unites our life. Okay, what is it? Focused on emotions, intuitions and mystical feelings. What is emotion? You know, emotion, വികാരങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നതാണ്. Emotions, intuitions. What is intuitions? Certain concepts in our mind. എനിക്ക് അങ്ങനെ intuition ഉണ്ടായി നമ്മൾ പറയാറുണ്ട്, അല്ലേ? What do you mean by that intuition? That is some kind of feelings in the mind, unknown. Some unknown factors that maybe we cannot explain it. Okay. Then mystical feelings. That is ദുരൂഹത എന്നൊക്കെ നമ്മളോട് mystery ആണെന്ന് പറയും, അല്ലേ? So mystical feelings, shared collective heritage, a common culture. See, we all are part of India. We all are part of India. Even though we have different customs, traditions, practices, we believe in different religions, we have different ideology regarding certain aspects, our lifestyle is different, language is different, but still we are all Indians. We are sharing a common culture. What is the culture we are sharing? Indian culture. Is it or not? Like that way, in European countries also may be divided on the basis of subdivisions of religion, or may be divided on the basis of languages spoken by the people, or may be divided on the basis of customs and practices existing in one part of European country from another part. These are all different points we can point out, but they all are part of one common cultural aspect, that is European culture. Okay, so shared collective heritage, a common culture, past as the basis of nation. Without past there is no present. Is it or not? People lived in forests, they depended on nature, and they slowly invented all these modern facilities what we are enjoying nowadays in our life. So when you study history, you may feel such a boring subject. Why should we study? Is it or not? And many of you think so. Without social science, what is life? There is no life. Is it or not? You wanted to know about your past if you wanted to study about the present changes. See what are the achievements we gained is depending on the past. You wanted to know about your economic aspects, you have to study economics. You wanted to know about the religious, regional aspects like regional diversity, climatic changes, why this low pressure occurs, why this high pressure occurs. All these things we wanted to study from geography. Is it or not? You are going to cast your vote. After 4 or 5 years, you will cast your vote. So before casting your vote, you should have an awareness about citizenship, democracy, how to use your political rights. For this, you should have an awareness about politics. Is it or not? So how much importance you are giving to other subjects? More than that, there is importance for a social science in human life. Is it or not? So don't think it as a boring subject. This is because of our culture, heritage, we are today. We are part of a great culture, we are part of a great heritage, and like this way, other nations people are also part of a great culture and heritage. They kept all these things for us. That is why we are enjoying it today. 2 days back, I think I read in newspaper a report that as Americans are selling everything for money, means natural resources, everything they are selling for money. So like this way they are selling water also, started selling water also. So in the recent future we can also expect this. We may call it as a superstitious belief that we are worshipping the rivers, we are worshipping the mountains. They are not superstitious beliefs. Ancient people were not knowing the scientific reason, but they are useful to them, so they protected all these factors. Modern man, by knowing its scientific reason, also causing disturbance to these natural forces, and when it is going to be finished, everyone is now wanted to plant trees, everyone wanted to protect the rivers and mountains and all because of the natural disasters what we are facing. Okay, so there is importance for our culture, our heritage, and that is the base of the nationalist movement. The existence of a nation is its culture and heritage. We should be proud as to be part of this great culture and heritage. Okay, so German philosopher John Gottfried Herder. I don't know you heard his name or not. German philosopher or who has wide read, they may heard his name. John Gottfried Herder has a concept regarding the romantic ideas towards or romanticism or role of culture towards a nationalist movement. That is, common people are called Dasko. Russian Revolution you have studied. See how these topics are connected with each other. You see, 9th standard you have studied these topics. Again, see, you are going through these topics. So that means folklore, emphasis on vernacular languages. And other languages we should study, but should not forget our vernacular languages. We should know our folklore, folk songs, folk dance, folk culture. We should know not only for imbibing nationalism, but we wanted to spread all these things to motivate the people and generate a feeling of nationalism in the minds of the people. Not only to evoke nationalism, but to generate a feeling of nationalism in the minds of the people, so that we can have the feeling that we are part of a great culture and heritage, and wanted to convey this message into modern generation, so that who are ignorant about it, who are illiterate also wanted to study about this. See, the same thing was done by Indian nationalists also during the time of Indian nationalist movement. See, the song of mass ideas was also sung to motivate the people who participated in the nationalist movement. The revolutionary songs which plays also is for motivating the people who are taking part in the revolution. So that thinking should be in our mind, that feeling should be in our mind, that we are all part of a great culture. We all are part of a great culture. We are working for this nation. Our culture is superior to anybody's culture and should follow this culture and tradition and heritage, and should spread these messages to others also, that we are proud to be our national culture, so that we can have a nation state and the spirit of nationalism in the minds of the people. Okay, so this is about the romanticism or role of culture in evoking the nationalist feelings. Okay, when you hear about this this patriotic songs or folk songs, see, the CBSE has told you to compare these two. So that is because we wanted to study about how different parts of the country have the same thing, how they are depicting it in different ways. Okay, like that way, the patriotic songs, the revolutionary songs, the folklore, folk culture, folk dance, all have part of this nation, and this will create a kind of nationalist feeling in our mind. Or through this we wanted to generate the idea of nationalism in the minds of the people. Okay. Then Poland was partitioned at the end of the 18th century, and it was under the Russia and Austria, three major powers. Then Karol Kurumsky, another great person who organized or who worked for the liberation of Poland. He used operas, music, folk dances like Polonaise and mazurka. Multiple choice question may ask for liberating the people of Poland. Then, like this folklore, language also played an important role. For example, after Russian occupation, this Russian language was totally removed from the schools and Polish language was imposed everywhere. But in 1831, a massive struggle organized which removed Polish language and again reinstated Russian languages, but the priesthood used Polish language for gatherings in the church and other occasions. So this was considered as a crime against Russian theories, and they punished the people who are using Polish language and they imposed the Russian language everywhere. So a country's language culture has its own role in liberating the nation or creating the feeling of nationalism in the minds of the people. Okay, so I hope you understood this much of portions. So please read the textbook very well and prepare. We will be in the interactive session. Whatever doubts you have, we can clarify during that time. Wish you all a very healthy stay at home and be careful regarding your health and take necessary precautions. Stay safe at home. Thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you. I will give you the notes through the Google Classroom. Okay.